Hello everyone, welcome to the Towards Excellence SPN 2021 program organized by PBDC to help all the students to cope in their studies in the midst of this pandemic, and we hope that this program will bring a lot of benefits to you. As for me today, I am Mr. Wong from SMK Methodist Cebu, and today I would love to talk about on CFR SPM Paper 2. And the focus today will be on extended writing, which mainly focus on narrative writing. Okay, so for the learning objective for today is to tell a story that is both engaging and interesting to the reader, and also apply different language features in narrative writing. Okay, first of all of us always ask this question: what is narrative writing? Now, a narrative writing is a way of presenting connected events in order to tell a good story. Okay, a good narrative writing enables readers to relate closely to the story. It should be written in such a way that the readers feel involved in the plots. Okay, they are when they read, they are soaked in it. Okay, so your story must be original. You try not to copy the ideas from other people. Okay, and try to give your story an interesting twist, and you can decide the flow of the story and the sequence of events must be aligned properly. So and besides that, you should use vivid details, color, name of people and places to make your story real. Okay, and of course, when you write narrative writing, we are looking for creative piece of narrative writing. It should be creative and interesting to read. Okay. All right, now first of all, let us look into what is the types of narrative writing. There are several types of narrative writing. Number one, it will be the linear narrative. Now, what does it mean by linear narrative? A linear narrative is where events are arranged in chronological order. So you may write your story from any perspective, be it a first person, second person, or third person. Now, if you look at the chart here, the beginning and the end, this story is set in a straight line. Okay, so this is more commonly known as the linear narrative. Okay, now linear narratives present stories in a logical manner by telling what happens from one point in time to the next one without using flashback, and then you flash forward and then you return to the present. No, we are not using all those. The story goes straight to the end. Okay, so second type, which is the non-linear narrative. Now, if you can look at the chart here, you can see sometimes from the beginning, you jump to the middle, and then it goes back to the middle again, and then from the middle, the story ends. Okay? So now, a non-linear narrative presents the event of the story out of order. Okay? So they will utilize flashback and other literary devices to shift the chronology of the story. Okay, so this has the effect of building suspense in your story. So if you love to write a suspenseful story, this might be the technique that is good for you. And apply the using flashbacks or flash forward and then returning to the present. Okay, so they are moving everywhere in the timeline of the story. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Quest narrative. Now, what is a quest narrative? A quest narrative is a story in which the main character works very hard, okay, to achieve a goal or to accomplish a mission. Now, as the main character works hard to achieve the goal, this will come. That is insurmountable obstacles along the way. Okay, so there are a lot of challenges along the way, and how does this main character overcome all those challenges? Now, one of very good example that I could think of is the Lord of the Rings. Now, many years ago, okay, this book, okay, has been made into three films, okay, and it won a lot of Oscar awards as well. Okay, so let's look at the plot of this quest narrative. Okay, now in this story, the Lord of the Ring is one of a very famous book, written by J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay, so here you can see in the beginning, Frodo heard his calling, and he must destroy the ring of power to stop Sauron. Okay, so you can see here the ring. So it begins the journey, okay, with his friends and the wizard, and then along the way, what are the troubles they encounter, and how did he complete the mission, and finally the peace is restored. So in this plot, we can see that this type is what we call a quest narrative. Okay, a quest narrative. All right, let's look at the next one, which is the past year analysis. Now, over the years, especially in SPM paper, there are many questions on narrative writing. So here we can see the past 10 years. Okay, so we will analyze the question from the past 10 years. Okay, so first of all, if you look at 2010, it requires you to write a story beginning with "It had been raining all day." Okay, now in 2011, a story that ends with "They look at each other and smile meaningfully." Now, the story beginning and a story that ends, these are the two format, okay, that is very familiar in narrative writing. Okay? That is very common in narrative writing as well. So in 2012, again, the story beginning with, okay. Now, in 2013, okay, there are two stories. Okay, so the title of the essay, okay, there are two narrative writing. Okay, so write a story about being alone. Okay, how do you feel when you are alone? And write a story that ends with "and so I became a better person." So what happened in the beginning and in the end, you turn over a new leaf and become a better person. Okay, so that is in 2013. Now let's look at the next slide. 2014, okay, write a story about a fisherman. Here, the question begins to be very specific. Okay, in 2014, it's very specific. Then you have to write something about fishermen. Therefore, you must have knowledge about fishermen. Okay, so again, write a story about a fisherman beginning with "The wind blew strongly out at sea." Okay, so dot dot dot. You have to continue to write the story. Now, next, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Describe how the friend helped you in a difficult time. Here, in a sense, you can write a little bit of story, but you must emphasize more on the description of how the friend will help you, okay, in this difficult time. Now, let's look at 2015. Now, 2015 requires you to write a story about someone you know who took a big risk and had a good result. Okay, and then begin your story with "Everybody said the plan would never work. It was far too risky." So you have to think of something that is very risky, okay, in your story. Okay, what is so risky about it? Okay, and the examiner will definitely love to see the way you write. Okay, the creativity you put in this essay. Okay, what is so risky, and we are very curious about it. Okay, next one, we have this: "Honesty is the best policy, and describe an experience when this was true for you." Okay, so you have to try to write what is so good about being honest, okay, in this essay. Okay, and what is your experience for being an honest person in this essay. So that is in 2015. Now in 2016, all right, there are two stories. Okay, you can choose from two questions. Okay, number one, write a story about a time in someone's life when music played an important role. Okay, so now we are talking about music. Okay, and next we have the question. They talk about your experience helping Puan Ramla, an elderly lady who lives alone. So you have to end your story with "I learned a lot about myself by helping Puan Ramla." Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, in this essay, you have to talk about how you help Puan Ramla, and by helping Puan Ramla, what have you learned? Okay, in the process of helping Puan Ramla, what are the lessons that you have gained from it? Okay, so that is the question for 2016. Now, let's look at the question for 2017. Now in 2017, same things goes, okay, which two questions were given on narrative writing. So number one, write a story in which you had to keep a friend's secret. So in your story, give details of the secret and explain why it was important to keep the secret. So in this case, you have to write a very suspenseful story where you have to tell us what is that secret, okay? So next, write a story about a small town girl who worked hard to become a successful chef. Now, begin your story with she had used the last of her savings to get to the cooking competition in the big city and you try to complete the story, okay? So this has to do with cooking. So if you watch a lot of cooking show like Gordon Ramsay, Anthony Bourdain, yeah, these are the things that you can explore and write, okay? So you have to write a bit of things on you must have a bit of background knowledge on cooking, okay? All right, so now in 2018 you have to write a story about a teenager who had an unusual hobby. So we are interested to know what kind of strange hobby is that. Okay, so you have to describe, okay, what is this unusual hobby. Perhaps my suggestion, you can try to say one of the unusual hobby will be like catching insects, okay, which a lot of people are very scared to do so, okay, because I have a friend who loves to catch insects, okay. So now goes to 2019, all right, write a story about two people who had an argument because one of them had lost a mobile phone. So you have to write a story between two people arguing with each other because one of them had lost a mobile phone. Okay, so end your story with and they both realize how foolish they had been. So something happened in between. Okay, in between, and then in the end they realize that two of them are very foolish. Okay, so you have to tell us your story. Okay, so let's go to 2020, which was last year. So last year, again, the story about a girl who successfully completed a challenging activity. Now begin the story with Kavita waited nervously for her turn, took a deep breath, and dot dot dot. I know what's going through your mind now because now this is the hottest drama in Malaysia, Squid Game. Okay, so please, if you write things like Squid Game in this, it's a bit not original. Okay, so you have to write some original story. Okay, your own ideas. Okay, all right. Now, 2021 is still remain a question mark. So by looking at all these past year analysis, you would know that what sort of question, okay, had already okay had already come out in the past, or and you will be able to equip yourself for what that is coming. Okay, so now, so when we talk about a narrative writing, we always have this problem. How to start? Where should I begin from? Okay, we begin to scratch our head, and we just don't know where to start. We need sort of like inspiration. Okay, what are the ideas? What are the inspiration for me to write this narrative writing? Okay, so in order to do so, here I can suggest you few ways on how to start a narrative writing. Now, first of all, just create a basic plot. Okay, make something happen to somebody, and then of course make sure you read the title of the essay carefully and understand it first. Okay, and next, make sure that the story that you write is able to hook and satisfy readers. And the next thing is the sequence of your time and events. And of course, you have to describe the action, the movement, all these sensory details, especially focusing on your five senses. Okay, so you have to describe the action and then show close-up details. Okay, for example, you can talk about the main character, you can talk about the settings, or you can talk about the cultural background in this, for example, a particular village or a particular group of people. Okay, and of course when you write the essay, make sure you set the right mood. When the sad thing is happening, you just can't write something that you are laughing at it unless it is something very devilish, okay, about it, or demonic about it. Okay, so you have to set the right mood. Okay, set the right mood. You have to review the character's feeling, and you need to make sure that the things you write is suitable, okay, and appropriate. Okay, now, so these are the ways that you can do in order to start your narrative writing. So remember, like I said just now, okay, you can read and understand the title of your narrative essay. This is the first thing that you have to do. So know exactly what it is asking you to do, okay? So read the title of the question carefully, okay? The title of your essay carefully. And then you brainstorm potential story ideas for your narrative. Okay, I always encourage students to take out a piece of paper and start drafting your story. Rather than you start to write and then you stop halfway through thinking of some ideas or how to branch out the stories. Okay, it will take a lot of time. And you might as well, okay, draft the story and then you sequence the time and event properly so that they will be able to help you to write more effectively. Okay, so number three, choose a single meaningful event to detail in the story. Okay, so what is happening? Okay, the climax. Okay, what is, or the exposition? Okay, so what is happening in this story? And then number four, you can also decide a theme or message for your story. For example, what the main theme is about love of a mother. If your main theme is about determination, so what is the direction of the story, okay, that you can set? And number five, and of course, you have to create characters for your story, okay? So whenever you write narrative writing, it is important to create a character, okay, and describe the setting of the story. Setting basically means what? Basically means the place, the time, and you can also talk about the cultural background of the story, okay, in a few brief statement, okay. And number seven, up, map out the plot of the story with a beginning, middle, and end. Okay, so like you see in the like what you see in the chart just now, the linear narrative, okay, the non-linear narrative, or even the quest narrative. Okay, so you have to map out the plot. Okay, so number eight, include an overview of the story and its theme in the last sentence. Basically, when it comes to conclusion, okay, this is the conclusion, and you can talk about what are the moral value or the lesson of life that you have learned from this story. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, A plus narrative writing. Okay, a lot of students basically will ask how to get A plus narrative writing. So first of all, you need to understand the assessment scale. Now under this CEFR SPM, this is the new format, and a lot of you are doing this for the first time. Okay, you need to know that you will be assessed in these four criteria. Number one is the content. Number two will be the communicative achievement. And number three, organization. And of course, the last one, focusing on language and also content. For content, so the thing that you have to do is to understand the demand of the question. Okay, you have to read the title carefully, and you need to know that the things that you write in your narrative writing is relevant to the demand of the question. And next one will be communicative achievement. Now, communicative achievement focus more on the format, the registry, okay, side of this writing essay. Now, if you can see from this a PowerPoint slide, uses the convention of the communicative task effectively to hold the target reader attention. Like I said, you have to write very interesting essays so that you can hold the reader attention and communicate with ease, okay? Fulfilling all communicative purposes. Okay, basically, when you write this essay, do you have to write it in a formal or informal manner? So these are the things that you have to consider when you write your narrative writing. Now, organization. Now, how do you arrange the event in your essay? Okay, so I already show you three types. Okay, there is the linear type, non-linear, and you can write about the quest. Okay, quest narrative. So if you are able to do so, if your essay is very well organized and coherent, okay, yeah, you can score full marks in this section. And we encourage students to use cohesive device, okay, in this while writing your essay. Okay, so this will be discussed in our slide later. Now for language, of course, we talk about the grammar, the vocabulary, and your language awareness. Okay, so of course, whether you can use a range of simple or complex grammatical form with control and flexibility, and then whether you can use the vocabulary with precision and accuracy in your essay. Okay, so let's look at the next slide. Now, of course, to break down all the things that we have seen just now, actually it means that you have to use accurate language use. Okay, so when you write your essay, make sure you use sentences of various length and type, and this will be discussed later as well. I will show you a few examples on how to produce sentences of various lengths and types. And next, a wide range of vocabulary. Of course, they want to see a sophisticated vocabulary, and all this vocabulary is used with precision. And next, your punctuation must be accurate, and your spelling is accurate towards the whole essay. Paragraph unity, like we said just now, when you arrange the sequence, okay, the flow of the story is this smooth. And then next one, appropriate style and tone, okay, especially when you write your story. Okay, next one. Now, next I'm going to talk about vivid details in narrative writing. In order to grab hold the attention of your reader, a lot of things, especially in narrative writing, you have to write in a very specific manner or in vivid details. Okay, so how are we going to achieve this? Okay, so let's look at the guideline. Number one, you have to write in some details about people and activities going on. Next, you may have to make your description lively and interesting. And number three, make sure the activities are arranged in order. Okay, so I have mentioned this a lot of time already, especially your sequence. Okay, so let's look at the next slide. Now, when you write a narrative essay, make sure you explore the mood, the noise, the light, and the color. So you explore the movement of the people, and in other words, the actions, okay? And you should use a suitable idioms, proverbs, simile in your essay. You can even put a small part of the song lyrics in your essay. I have seen students dig that in their writing, okay? Which is very creative as well. Of course, you don't write the whole song. Remember, in the slide here, you can see a small part, okay? Just a small part, okay, of the song lyrics, okay? No harm. Okay, breaking down. Good essay for narrative writing must have all these elements, okay? So, like I said just now, you have color, light and sound. We talk about action. We talk about idioms or proverbs, and then the dialogue, simile, and also the emotion, okay, which I mentioned just now, mood or feelings. Yeah. So these are the things that you must always be aware of, okay, when writing a narrative essay. Okay, you must include all this to make your essay sound lively and real. Okay, so include all these things in your narrative essay. Okay, let's look at the first one, the mood or feeling. We can see from the picture here, the bear is what? The bear is feeling sad, right? Okay, so for mood and feeling, we want to know why must we include emotion in our narrative essay? Because as human beings, all of us have feelings and emotion as we go through our daily lives. And this means that our brains react with empathy, sympathy, compassion, care, and connection. So we resonate emotionally to the story. And when you include emotions in your narrative essay, it enables you to engage with readers. Okay, so we can connect with their background together with their feelings. Okay, so that is why it's very important to include emotion in your narrative essay. Okay, And next, by connecting your audience emotionally, so what are the benefits of doing so? Number one, provide motivation and compels them to want to learn more. It simply means that they want to continue reading the story. It's not boring, it's not dull. Okay. Next, it results in better understanding of the key point because the learner can see themselves in the same situation. They can relate to the feeling of this, perhaps this character in your narrative essay. And also, it helps everyone or the reader to recall the content of the story. Okay, the content of the story. Okay, so next one, let me give you a sample. Now let's look at this sample. Last Friday was Mary's birthday. She invited us to her birthday party. Everybody enjoyed eating the food. We gave her some presents, we played some games, then we go home. This is a very poor sample of narrative essay. It's very monotonous, it's very dull, no feelings. And when you read this essay, you feel like what? What do you feel like? You feel like a robot. Okay, so it's very rigid. Okay, now if we include emotion into this essay, let's look at the difference. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you look at this sample, the second sample, we did a bit of modification, okay, to the previous paragraph. And if you look at this paragraph, we have included emotion in this short paragraph. For example, here is an example. Last Friday was Mary's birthday. She could feel the excitement in the air. Okay, she's very excited. Okay, why? Because her mother organized a birthday party, and then we look at all those people who attended her parties. Okay, all of us ate heartily as there were lots of mouth-watering food. So Mary was overjoyed to receive our birthday present. So we played some games and laughed funnily at each other. After the party, we headed back home with a heavy heart, although we had a whale of time at her birthday party. So compare this paragraph with the previous paragraph. Do you notice the difference? Okay, you can see that this paragraph is more lively, it's more engaging, and when the reader read, they feel the main character, they feel the main character feeling in the background. Okay, so that is the power of emotion when you include in your narrative writing. Okay, so let's look at the next slide. Okay, now basically feelings and emotion, there are so many vocabulary that you can use for feelings such as sad, okay, for feelings such as being happy. So what are these vocabulary that you can use? I won't go through one by one, but I will put here for 1 minute so that you can go through. Okay, if you are feeling hurt, okay, what are the words that you can use? For example, like let down, you are wounded, because you are being criticized by others, that's why you feel hurt. And if you are very confident, what are the words that we can use? Okay, if you are very energized, okay, you are very motivated, you are very determined today. Okay, these are the words that you can use if you are very energized, if you feel energized today. Okay, so this is just one of the example, and you can find so many examples in internet. Okay, so you can go internet and try to explore a lot of words, okay, that you can learn from there. So this is just one of the example. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now, in this section, we are going to talk about action. Basically, it means the movement of the main character. Now, action verb you can use to describe vivid details of the movement made by the characters in your story. Now, even if a character or you is sitting in a room staring at the ceiling, a wall, or out of a window, even if you are in the dark, movement must happen. Okay? There is movement, okay? So a story without movement is dull, boring, and uninteresting. Okay, it's not interesting. Let's look at the next slide. Now, I'll give you one example. Okay, number one, I went to school, I fell down. Very direct. Okay, is it wrong? No, it's not wrong if you write this way, just that it's very boring. because you don't give vivid details about the movement. Now, if I change it to, I was walking slowly towards the school main gate. All of a sudden, my feet slipped and I fell flat on my face. Pop! You land your face on the ground. This way, the vivid details, you see the difference, okay, when you write narrative essay. So if you write in this manner, I'm sure your story will be interesting, and especially the markers, they have to mark so many scripts, okay. They will fall asleep as they read so many essay, one essay after another. It's getting boring. But if you write something like this, okay, I believe you can grab hold of their attention. You can give them a good impression, and as a result, they will give you a better marks. Okay, so let's look at the other examples. Now, the car fell into a drain. Again, this sentence is very direct. Okay, it's nothing wrong with it. It's just that it's very dull and boring. But if I describe the process, okay, the process of how the car fell into the drain, it sounds more interesting. It's very real. So let's look at the example given here. The car skidded on the slippery road and spun 180 degree before landing in the dry drain. Oh, so much detail in it. Okay, so when you write in this way, the marker feel, wow, it's so real. Your accident is so real. You describe in such a good detail. Okay, now let's look at the next slide. Now, when you blend emotion and action together, you send a very powerful message to your reader. This is so important. Emotion plus action together in one paragraph. Wow, the effect is so amazing. Okay, I prepared some example for you, and you can see here. Now, for example, you said, my teacher felt angry. This is so normal, right? For students' life, your teacher is fuming on fire, okay? See red, okay? So, why is your teacher so angry in the class? There's no details about it. So, as a storyteller, you have to give details why your teacher is angry. Because when you write narrative writing, basically, you are a storyteller. Okay, tell me the story. Let me know why your teacher is feeling so mad. Okay, so now my teacher felt angry because a lot of students did not finish their homework. She began to shake her head in disappointment. You see, this is movement. She raised her voice and scolded us. Again, this is action. She walked around the class to check everyone's homework. As punishment, she ordered a few students to stand in the class for one period. So much detail and very informative, okay, on why your teacher feels so angry. Okay, again, you can see the emotion is inside where your teacher is very angry, and you show the movement. Okay, what happened when she feels angry? Okay, so next example. Now, this is more on a family member who passed away. Okay, so Molly dashed into Nanny's room and delivered the sad news to her to her nanny. Actually, sorry, there's a mistake here. So Nanny sat still and remained silent for a moment. When the silence became uncomfortable, Molly glared at Nanny. Her warm tears streamed down Nanny's wrinkled face, and she sobbed miserably. Okay, Roland was shot by a sniper and died instantaneously in the battlefield. So it's a war period. So we are talking about this nanny waiting for her son to come back, but she died in the battlefield. So you can see the words in red are all movement, and the words in blue, we are talking about emotion. So when emotion, you words together with movement, it sends a very powerful message to the reader. Okay, so you can see the effect from this paragraph. Next, we are going to talk about lighting effects. Now, if you go to concert and everything is so dark, what are you going to do there? Okay, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we have to talk about lighting effects in our essay as well. Okay, and these are the things that writers, especially students, they do not explore much. Okay, so here I will share a bit of how to put lighting effects in your essay. Now it focuses more on weather actually. Okay, so first example I'll give you, we have to talk about the sun. Okay, so it is very hot in the afternoon, I'm walking to the bus stop, that's all. Okay, instead of writing this way, we can actually talk about the lightings. Now the sun is shining brightly above my head, so we know that it's a very sunny afternoon, so it's very hot. Okay, so when reader, it's a small details, but it send a huge impact to your reader. Okay, so next one, let's look at the moon. Okay, now you can see the moon in the night sky. Okay, so I took this sentence from the book The Lord of the Ring. Again, The Lord of the Ring is one of my favorite books, and I felt this sentence is so beautiful. Moonlight drowns out all but the brightest star. So what does it mean here? It means that in the night sky, only the moon shines brightly. Okay, and the brightest star are the ones that we are able to see with your eyes. And there are many other stars that we can't see because they are further away from Earth. Okay, so it doesn't shine that bright. Okay, so this is a very beautiful sentence that you can use in your essay. And I took it from the book. Okay, The Lord of the Ring. Okay, so you can include this in your essay and makes your essay look so beautiful. Okay. Now, if we look at this picture of the curtain, and suddenly a ray of light came in, okay, from the curtain. Now, how are we going to describe, okay, this form of a lighting effect? Okay, so you can say a ray of sunlight slipped through a small slit in the curtain and blossom. So the light comes in a very small slit, and then suddenly it blossoms. Okay, it comes in and then it blossoms. Okay, across his back, and James tried to shield his face against the bright sunshine. Okay, so when you wake up early in the morning, you can use this paragraph to help you, okay, in your narrative writing. Okay, so next we are talking about the sun rising up, okay, early in the morning. Okay, if you are an early bird, of course you can see this scenery early in the morning. Now the orange fireball, instead of using the sun all the time, I now replace it with orange fireball. Okay, slowly rising up from the horizon, lighting up the dark gray sky. Okay, lighting up the dark gray sky. Okay, so you can use this as well to describe the rising sun. Okay, next, ray of golden sunlight. If you look at this picture, all right, this sentence describe it perfectly. Okay, so ray of golden sunlight piercing through, okay, a cluster of gray clouds. Okay, so when you write in this manner, you give your reader some sort of imagination, a picture, okay, to imagine, oh, how does this sunlight looks like, okay, piercing through a cluster of gray clouds. So this is the very beautiful way to write your narrative essay. Okay, next one. When you walk alone the street at night. Okay, so walking down the silent street with flickering and flashing. So you can see from this picture there, okay, the street lights flickering and flashing. Okay, send chills down my spine. Okay, so it's a bit spooky when you walk along this kind of road and then suddenly the street lights flickering and flashing. So this is more suitable for you to write a suspenseful uh, narrative essay. Okay, it sounds eerie. It gives a reader a bit of a spookiness. Okay, yeah. All right, so next, go to the next one. Now the next thing that we have to explore is sound. A lot of students, when they write narrative essay, they forgot about the sound effect. Just now we're talking about the lighting effect. Now we're talking about the sound. A car hits a motorcycle on the road. No sound. Are you sure there is no sound? Think about it. All right, now here we can include words like bang. I heard a loud crash. Okay, a motorcycle crashed head on into a white sedan. Okay, so you see the sound effect in this sentence. So it makes your essay very real and lively. Okay. Now let's look at another example. If you look at this picture, immediately you will be thinking about the movie Fast and Furious. Okay, the movie Fast and Furious. Now, when the car drift on the road, okay, what kind of sound does the tire produce? Okay, those screeching sound, right? Okay, here I use the phrase, okay, the scream of the tires. Okay, the scream of the tires as the car rounded the curve brought discomfort to our ears. Yeah, the screeching sound is very uncomfortable to your ears. Okay, and for those who love sports cars, I'm sure those sound doesn't annoy you that much. Okay, so this is the way you write the sound effect. Okay, all right. Now, how about pressing the doorbell? Okay, ding dong, ding dong. Okay, so pressing the doorbell, there's a sound effect there. And during the festive season, especially Santa Claus, ho ho ho, Merry Christmas to you. Now, all these you can include as the sound effect in your narrative essay. Don't ever forget that. A lot of students they forget to create the sound effect in their narrative essay. All right. Then how about animals? The word roar. Okay. So why does the dog produce this sound? Because they are preparing to attack you. Okay. Roar. Okay. So the dog was growling fiercely or ferociously. So you can use on wild animals, especially like uh, and domestic pets, I'm sorry, dogs, tigers, leopard, or lions. Okay, so you can use on all these. Okay, the sound effect. Don't forget about it. How about cat? Okay, I did not include in my PowerPoint slide. For cat, you can write about meow. Okay, the cat is purring. Okay, meow. All these you can explore. Okay, it's very interesting if you include in your narrative essay. So next part, we are going to talk about colors. Okay, colors. This is another aspect that we always forget. Now, did you notice just now when I write about the weather, I included a lot of colors in it. For example, the orange fireball. So we do a bit of reflection. Okay, the orange fireball rising up from the horizon and brighten up the dark gray sky. I give you colors in the sentence. Okay, so it gives you a picture to imagine. Okay, the scenario in your story. Okay, so here I just give a few examples. When we talk about cars, we can talk about especially here the example given is a Mercedes, which is in metallic black color, and we talk about the animals, the brown eagle soaring in the clear blue sky, and then we talk about uniform. We talk about the clothings. Okay, blue uniform and black pants. Okay, so you can include color. Okay, in your narrative essay so that you give people imagination. People can connect to your story. Okay, next one. We are talking about old ladies here, especially the hair. We talk about the long gray hair dangling loosely from her head to the waist. So it's very long. The hair is very long, and the color we describe it as gray hair. Okay, now next. While attending a photography forum, I fell in love with the art of black and white photography. There are so many types of photography, and here I choose black and white. Okay, it's easy to understand. Black and white photography. Okay, so these are colors. Okay, did you notice that a lot of time we do not spend a bit of time to put in some colors? Okay, into our narrative essay. This is just a small detail, but the message it's saying is very impactful. Okay. All right. Next, what else do we have? We are talking about rainbow. Okay, rainbow. Here I'm using spectrum of colors. Okay, so spectrum. You learn this in science, right? Okay, the spectrum of colors in the rainbow. So while gazing at it, okay, it soothe your troubled mind. Okay, you feel peaceful. Okay, gazing at the rainbow. Okay, so I'm putting the colors here rather than just saying gazing at the rainbow soothe my troubled mind. Okay, and we forget about the colors. Okay, we are enjoying the rainbow because of the colors. Okay, so the next part that I'm going to talk about will be idioms, no? So all these are the language features in your narrative essay. Okay, so do not forget to include idioms in your essay because idioms contribute to your language mark, especially vocabulary. Okay, but don't include too many idioms that makes your essay sounds very awkward. Okay, all right. So when a person who loves to read, okay, we often say he is a bookworm. Okay, so he is always in the library. Okay, so this is just some simple idiom I use here because of the time constraint of this video. I cannot show you all the idioms in this world. Okay, there are too many of it. Okay, so I just show you something that is easy to use. And let's look at the second one. We look at this lady. What is she doing? Okay, the moment, okay, she encounter the lizard, what happened to her? Okay, she screamed at the top of her lungs. Okay, when she saw a lizard. Okay, she screamed at the top of her lungs. Okay, so I highlight the word at the top of her lungs. Okay, so use this in your essay. Okay, these are some of the common idioms that you can explore. Now, one of the benefits of using idiom, did you notice here? If I say she screamed loudly when she saw a lizard, okay, scream loudly is only two words. But if I say scream at the top of her lungs, what are the pros do you see here? You can see that by using idioms, actually we help you to add the number of words, okay, in your essay. Okay, so this is one of the benefits of using idioms while writing narrative essay. All right. What are the idioms related to sadness? Number one, it will be heartbroken. Okay, when somebody deliver the sad news to you, of course you are heartbroken. And number two, we look at Jackson. Jackson feels down in the mouth, and if you can see from this picture here, okay, all right, feels down in the mouth. You can see from this picture the smiley here. Okay, so exactly, okay, the same as how the idiom described, okay? Because he failed the final exam. And number three, Maria feels the world is crushing down on her, okay? It sounds so dramatic, right? But this is the job of the idiom, okay? To create that effect, okay, in your narrative essay. Okay, so why she feels the world is crushing down on her? Oh, because her boyfriend cheated on her. Okay, the whole world becomes meaningless to her. Okay, so this is the job of the idiom. All right, let's look at idioms related to nervous. Okay, you feel the anxiety. Okay, you are very nervous. Okay, number one, we have felt the butterflies in the stomach. Okay, so maybe a pretty girl is approaching you and you feel so nervous. Or what should I do? What should I do? She's walking towards me. Okay, so you begin to feel the butterflies in the stomach. And then the second one, we look at Selena. Selena broke into cold sweat when the principal called her name. You broke into cold sweat, okay? You're getting nervous. Why is principal asking to see me? All right. Now, these are the very less common, okay, used by students. Okay, Scott was on pins and needles, okay, also very nervous while he waited for the result of the exam, okay, on pins and needles. And the last one, this is very common. Jessica was like a cat on hot bricks, okay, because she was stuck in heavy traffic jam and she will be late for the job interview or started to be so nervous. Okay, what should I do? What should I do? I'm stuck in a heavy traffic jam. I'm going to be late for the job interview. Okay, and give a very bad impression to my boss. Okay, so these are the things that idioms do. It give effect. Okay, a very powerful impact to your narrative essay. All right, next, simile. Okay, the use of simile in your narrative essay. Now, a simile is a phrase that uses a comparison to describe. It is a type of figurative language that describes something by comparing it to something else with the word like or as. Okay, so later I'll give you an example. So similes can make writing more colorful and interesting. Okay, all these things that I provide uh, in this video session is to help your essay more colorful and interesting. Okay, now let's look at some of the example of simile. Okay, number one, she swims like a fish. Okay, so that means that this person can swim very well. Okay, now he's as hairy as a gorilla. Okay, now Peter laughs like a hyena. Mr. John is as wise as an owl, so SYS. And you can see the other way of writing it, especially number one, like a fish, or you can also write in the format like as wise as. Okay, allowed me is as easy as ABC. Next we have because I was embarrassed, my face was as red as a ripe tomato. Now my love is like a red, red rose. Wow. Okay. Now next one. The world is like a stage. She got a neck like a pipe. Okay. So these are the way that you can write simile, okay, in your narrative essay. Okay, let's look at the next one. I provided some exercise for you. Okay, so you can spend some time to answer this exercise. Okay, so we will go through this exercise together in this video session now. Okay, because of time constraint, I will just go through it with you. Okay, so number one, Chris tiptoed down the stairs, quiet as a. So the best answer here would be a mouse. Okay, quiet as a mouse. Now the smiling little baby is as cute as a button. Okay, a button. Now, Armand is a good tennis player. He runs as quick as lightning, okay? Like the series The Flash, okay? So fast, okay? Like lightning, okay? As quick as lightning. Next one, my grandma knows so much, okay? This one we know already. She is as wise as an owl, okay? Kim is never nervous. She is always as cool as a cucumber. And number six, the clean laundry smells as fresh as a daisy. Okay, flower, daisy. Okay, so you can see here, daisy. Okay, all right. So this is just some simple exercise for you, so that you will know how to include a simile in your narrative essay. All right. The next writing technique will be on conversation and dialogue. This is another very important element in writing a good narrative essay. Okay, let's look at how we are going to do this. Okay, I give you one sample here, which is a mom scolded Adam because he was still sleeping. Okay, so this is just written in the simple sentence. Okay, is this not simple sentence actually? Okay, so in one sentence, I would like to modify it into a dialogue. So here, Adam, you're a lazy worm. Get out of your bed now. Mom shouted angrily. It's too early. Adam mumbled groggily. Okay, so compare dialogues with a sentence I gave you. Okay, which is more interesting? Okay, so do you see the effects? Okay, do you see the difference of using dialogue? But when you write a narrative essay, I have to remind you, do not write too much, do not include too much dialogue in it, or else it is not narrative essay. You are writing dialogue, okay? Rather than writing a narrative essay, suddenly your essay turns into a dialogue, okay? So yeah, be very careful with it, okay? So I give you sample later, okay? I'll give you some sample later. All right, next one, principal reminded the students to follow the school rules and regulation. All of you must abide by the school rules and regulation, the principal reminded the students. Okay, so this is a principal giving advice to the student. Okay, so you can transform it into a dialogue. Okay, now next, Maria asks Sally to help her with the homework. Okay, so Maria is asking Sally for help. Okay, all right, so here you can create a question, okay, in a dialogue form. Okay, Sally, could you teach me the way to solve this mathematical problem? Maria asked hopefully. Okay, so you see the difference here. Okay. Now, the lady in the swimming pool was screaming hysterically for help as she was drowning. Help! Somebody, please help me! A drowning lady was struggling and screaming hysterical in the water. So you see the effect. Okay, one is just written in a normal sentence, and the second I show you in dialogue. Okay, so what is the effect? Which one do you prefer? Okay, which one is more lively, is more interesting, and the impact is stronger? So you decide yourself. Okay, that is why here I encourage you to use some dialogue in your narrative essay to create the effect. Okay, to create a strong effect to the reader. Okay, one of the sample is here. Okay, normally I will advise student to it's up to you actually. It's based on your creativity. I have seen students started their essay, the opening of the essay uh with dialogue. If you don't want to start with the dialogue, it's okay as well. Okay, you want to start with the normal paragraph, it's okay as well. All right, so it's based on your creativity actually. It's up to you to play. So today, all the language features that I've shared with you, it's up to you to experiment and to make your narrative essay more creative. Okay, so we look at the first one here. Nadia was sitting in the garden full of colorful flowers while sipping a cup of hot coffee. So it was a relaxing day, so her mind began drift away and recall the bittersweet memory of her childhood. Okay, and this is this is flashback. So we are using the technique known as flashback. And nasi lemak two ringgit. Okay, Makcik Seloma was shouting at the top of her lungs. So here I included idioms in it. And Nadia was busy scooping the coconut rice, put it on the banana leaf. Then she added a piece of fried chicken and put on some sambal. And for your information, sambal is accepted by Cambridge Dictionary as an official English word already. Yeah. Okay, sambal on top of the coconut rice. Every day she had to help her mother to sell coconut rice by the side of the road. Okay, so here you see the effect of dialogue in the middle of two we say normal sentences. Okay, so when a marker read through your essay, they are captured, okay, by the effect of the dialogue, okay, in this paragraph. Okay, so that is the importance of including we say conversation or dialogue in your narrative essay. Okay, the impact is very strong and it sounds real. It give it give life, okay, to your narrative essay. Okay. Okay, proverbs. Yeah, you can also include proverbs in your essay. Now the first one we can see here is this apple and a sick bear. Okay, a sick bear. So can you guess, okay, what is this proverb? Ah, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Now, what does it mean by an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Excuse me. Now, you need a healthy diet to stay in a good shape and stay in good health. Okay, the focus here is healthy diet, the way you eat. Okay, the way you eat. A lot of students misunderstood these proverbs. Okay, the main focus is healthy diet. Okay, all right. No man is an island. Okay, meaning every person needs a friend and do not be antisocial. Okay, go out social, meet new people. Okay, the world is a beautiful place. Okay, now included here are some of the common proverbs that you can use in your essay. So better to be safe than sorry. So it means you should take any necessary precaution. Better late than never. Doing something late is better than not doing it at all. It can also means that you are never too old to do something you wanted to do. Next one, you have actions speak louder than words. Okay, so this is very common. Actions speak louder than words. And we have next, cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay, you can use this when you talk about all these cleaning program in your school or you are tidying up your room. Okay, you can explain why we have to keep it clean. Okay, especially you tackle with essay with dengue fever. Okay, cleanliness is very important. Now, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, where there's a will, there's a way. This is more like a proverbs to encourage your friend. Okay, so if you are determined, you will find a way to achieve what you want. Okay. Now, next, laughter is the best medicine. Okay, when you are in a difficult situation, laughing can make it easier to get through that situation. And next one, you have a leopard doesn't change its spots. A person can't change its innate character, especially the bad one. Okay, all these bad habits very difficult to change. Okay, now I have included two links for all the proverbs. Okay, so you can try to copy the link and access through internet to have a look at all these proverbs available online. Okay, so we cannot include all the proverbs here, but the things that I can teach you is how do we use it. Student always ask this, teacher, I do not know how to include proverbs, okay, in my sentences. Okay, number one, the first method is stand alone. Okay, proverbs can stand alone. Okay, it can stand on itself. So I give you the example A. Let's look at example A. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Full stop. You don't need to write anything. Okay, it can stand alone. It can stand on itself. So how do you explain? Therefore, we must always clean our homes from time to time. Okay. Now B. Don't you ever marry a man who loves to drink and gamble. Good advice for all the ladies. Okay, a leopard doesn't change his spots. Okay, a leopard doesn't change his spots. Okay, so it's very difficult to change bad habit. Okay, so did you see the proverbs? It can stand on its own. Yeah. Now the next way in a dialogue. Okay, you can use a proverb in your dialogue as well. So my grandpa used to say, when there's a will, there's a way. Okay, this is another way you can write proverbs. Now, don't you ever give up. 4 7 times, stand out at mom consult me. Okay, so this is another way you can use proverbs in your dialogue, in your conversation. And the next way, you use the word as the saying goes, or you can also say as the old saying goes. Okay, I've shown you the example here. A, don't give up easily, as the saying goes, 4 7 times, stand out straight. So just now we use in dialogue form. So here we use the form by using the uh, connecting phrase as the saying goes. Okay. So B, talk to me about your problem. As the old saying goes, a problem shared is a problem half. A joy shared is a joy double. Okay, so this is another proverb that we use. We come to another new chapter, which is cohesive device, because just now we talked about uh, the 4 criteria that you have to fulfill, right? Especially organization of your essay. Okay, so cohesive device, this is one thing that is very important while writing your narrative essay. Cohesive device are words or phrases used to connect ideas between different parts of the text. Okay, so if you look at this diagram here, so cohesive device are words that link ideas and closes together. Okay, it link ideas. Okay, they help to guide your reader through your reading and make your meaning clear. So as they read through the story, it helps to link. It's like a glue, a super gum. Okay, to gum the ideas together. Okay, so cohesive devices affect comprehension. Comprehension means the understanding towards the story, yeah? Because they help readers to integrate information between sentences in the text. And let me remind you, do not overuse cohesive device in your essay. It will make your essay writing mechanical and dull. Like I said, beginning of the session, a robot. Okay, a robot. Okay. Now, use cohesive devices sparingly and accurately if you want to impress the examiner. Don't overuse them, don't modify them, and be careful not to use inappropriate ones. Okay, so use with accuracy, basically what it means. Use it with precision and accuracy. Okay. The biggest mistake many students make is to use cohesive devices in nearly every sentence. Okay, I know some of your teachers say, hey, you must include cohesive device in your essay, but don't include in nearly every sentence. Okay, it makes your essay sound so mechanical, so rigid. Okay, so your essay will sound awkward due to overusing the cohesive devices. Only use cohesive devices when necessary and use them appropriately and effectively. So this is the piece of advice I'm giving you. All right, so these are the list of cohesive device I prepared here. Okay, the function is mentioned there as well. So basically in this diagram, you can see there are 9 functions. Okay, so which is adding, sequencing, illustrating, comparing, qualifying, contrasting, cause and effect, summary, and emphasizing. Okay, so we can't go through one by one in this session, but I hope you spend some time reading through it. And if possible, when you are at home or you are back in school, try to experiment all of this, okay, in your writing. Okay, one of the secret recipe to be a successful uh, narrative essay writer is to experiment. Okay, because you are in school, you can experiment with all sorts of sentences. Okay, so all these language feature that I've shared in this video session, do try to experiment with it. Okay, after you listen to all of this. Okay, so next, let's look at some of the example here given. Okay, first of all, I like to thank my family. If we want to make a conclusion, in conclusion, is perfect. Then this is sequencing. First brush your teeth, then go room. Okay, next, leave it for 5 to 10 minutes depending on the tea. As soon as my daughter gets up, she will wash her face. Later, they will call you later today. So these are all the sequencing cohesive devices. All in all is more like you are making a conclusion. My son may not be brilliant, but all in all, as far as I know, he did quite well in his exam. Now, next one, eventually, I might take her 5 weeks, but she will do it. Sorry, it might take her 5 weeks, but she will do it eventually. Okay, eventually. Now here, there is another slide on how to use all these cohesive devices. At last, she passed the math exam. Furthermore, reading books help to learn new information. Furthermore, it helps to keep our brain cells fresh. Read more books, guys. Look at this sentence. Okay, furthermore, they add more information. It's used to add more information. Finally, the notebook finally reached me last night. Meanwhile, oh, there's spelling mistake here, okay? My mother was talking to my father. Meanwhile, my son was making lunch. Okay, moreover, okay, Mary plays football. Moreover, she works a hotel. Okay, now beside the guitar, she plays the piano. So next one, she worked hard and in the end, she passed the exam. In addition, you are adding more information by using this cohesive device. Samuel writes short story. In addition, he writes article for a newspaper. Okay, that means not just writing short story, he is also writing articles for the newspaper. Okay, you are adding more things. Okay, this will be the exercise. Okay, now for this exercise, you can access from the link that I will give later. Okay, in the comment section below, where you can find the answer for this exercise. So for now, I will just show you the exercise, so you can go through this exercise and do it on your own, and do spend some time on it. Yeah. Okay, let's just go to the next slide. Okay, you can try answering all these questions and the answer will be available in the link on the comment level below, yeah? Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, let's go to the last two questions. Okay, guys, if you are done with this exercise, okay, remember to check the answer at the link under the comment section. Yeah. Right, let's move on to the last part of the day, which is sentence type, which I'm going to answer your question on the various sentence lengths and types. Okay, in the beginning of the session, we have mentioned about this before. So what should you do? Okay, now basically the marker, they will look for three types of sentences in your essay, which is simple sentence, compound sentence, and also complex sentence. Okay, so in your while writing narrative essay, you must be aware that you have to produce these three types of sentences. Okay, let's look at number one, simple sentence. Now, a sentence structure that contains one independent clause, it expresses a complete thought. Okay, the idea is complete. It contains a subject and a verb. Normally, you can only see one verb in the simple sentence. Okay, there's only one. Okay, now this is the example I gave you. Now he is using the vacuum cleaner. So this is a simple sentence. He eats rice with chopsticks. Okay, so eats is a verb. Okay, one verb. All right. These are all simple sentence. Now sometimes a simple sentence can be as short as one word only. So if you compare with the sentences just now, a few words, but sometimes simple sentence can be just one word. Okay, for example, here, run, don't look back. Help, somebody please help me. Loneliness, it's a word that we fear most. Okay, so you can see. So compare with the sentences just now and with the one on this slide, you see the sentence length. Here, only one word. So just now, a few words. So this is what it meant by sentence length. Okay, the marker will try to see whether the candidate, the SPN candidate, is able to perform this in their essay. Okay, so you can include this as well in your writing technique. Okay, the next one will be compound sentence. Now, compound sentence basically means you combine two simple sentences together. But how do you combine them? You have to use conjunction to combine. And we usually use coordinating conjunction to form compound sentences. Don't worry about the terms here. What is coordinating conjunction? I will explain it, okay? Don't worry, yeah? So let's look at it. Now, basically, it means the first sentence and the second sentence are like two pieces of bread. Okay, when you want to stick this bread together, you need peanut butter. So peanut butter functions as a conjunction. Okay, this is just a picture that I gave you. Okay, what is the compound sentence? All right, now coordinating conjunction. Now, this conjunction join words or phrases and sentences together, and we use a very easy technique to remember, which is the acronym fanboys. Okay, now they form compound sentences. Now, what does it mean by fanboys? Okay, what does it stand for? Okay, so here you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 coordinating conjunctions. These are only used to form compound sentence. Okay, in order to make compound sentences, you have to use these 7 conjunctions. Okay, these 7 conjunctions, which we memorize as fanboys. Okay, fanboys. Okay, now for fanboys, okay, you can see B stand for but. Okay, so these are the example of sentences. She likes to eat bread, but he is not. Okay, Mang asked him not to go cinema, yet he went. Okay, so conjunction but. Okay, for N, it stands for no. Okay, neither Mary nor James wants to go to cinema today. So this is a compound sentence. You can either buy a cake or a juice for me later. Okay, so F stand for. Okay, he cannot go to school for it is raining. He is sick, so he cannot go to school. Okay, this is a conclusion or to show conclusion. Now, next one, to link two ideas, okay, we use the word and, okay, fanboys, A stand for and, okay. So Adam and Jenny can drive a car. He goes to market and buy 2 fish and a packet of onions, okay. So you use the word and, okay, in order to link two ideas together. Okay, so let's look at another sample. Here I'm going to show you how are we going to use fanboys to to combine two simple sentences to become a compound sentence. Let's look at simple sentence number one. India has 900 million people, full stop. Number two, the number of people will reach 1 billion in 2012, full stop. All right. So how do we change it to form a compound sentence? So I'm going to use the conjunction and. Okay. So India has 900 million people and the number of people will reach 1 billion in 2012. So this is quite simple, right? So you just add on the conjunction. And remember, the conjunction that you use must be the 7 fanboys, okay? Fanboys, fanboys, okay? So you have to use that, okay? So this is how we perform a compound sentence, okay? This is how we write a compound sentence. All right, so here I've shown you fanboys, okay, fanboys. So how are we going to use it? So you spend some time to read through this slide so that you know how to use this conjunction in order to make compound sentence. Do spend some time to read, yeah? Okay, let's continue on with our next slide. You may pause the video while watching this on YouTube, okay? So that you can go through these fanboys, okay? All right. Now, these are the sentences that you can practice in order to perform a compound sentence. So after you complete, you may refer to your own teacher in school to correct for you, or you can also click on the link below to look for the answers. I will provide this in the link below for the answers, okay? All right. So if you wish to do so to complete this exercise, okay, you can pause this video and try to complete this exercise and then try to compare your answers with the answers that I will give in the comment link below. All right. So this is the first page. And then I will move on to the second page. All right, so over here, I'll give you 15 questions. Okay, so you can try this at home. How do I combine two simple sentences to become a compound sentence? Okay, so next move on to the last type of sentence, which is complex sentence. Complex sentence, a lot of students will confuse, okay? So I'll try my best to break it down in a simple way for you to understand. Now, in grammar, a complex sentence is a sentence with one independent clause and one dependent clause, okay? So what does it mean? Don't worry, I'll explain later. Now, a complex sentence is often used to make clear which idea are most important and which idea are subordinate. So one is the main idea, one is just a supporting idea. Okay, so a complex sentence always have a subordinate conjunction or relative pronoun. So what is subordinate conjunction and what is relative pronoun? We will explore later. Okay, so let's look at independent and dependent clauses first. Now, number one, the independent clauses means one that can stand alone. Okay, it has meaning. Okay, for example, Kathy sipped on her cappuccino. Now, this is an independent clause because it's a complete sentence. It has a subject, it has a verb, and it expresses a full idea. Okay. Now, let's see a dependent clause, one that does not fully express an idea. Now, while Katie sipped on her cappuccino, something is missing, don't you think? Okay, so although this sentence contains a subject and a verb, it is not a complete thought. Okay, we still need more information. Therefore, this is not a complete sentence. And this is what we call a dependent clause. One must be able to stand alone, and another one is incomplete. Okay, incomplete. All right. So that the part that is incomplete, we call dependent clause. So in order to connect independent clause and dependent clause, you need subordinating conjunction and relative pronoun. Okay, let's look at what is relative pronoun. Basically, relative pronoun you can see here is a WH question. So you can spend some time to read all these relative pronouns and how what is the purpose they use for. And then at the back here, you can see here the one in yellow. These are all the complex sentence. This is the way we perform a complex sentence. Okay, so this is adapted but from a lesson from english.com. You can try to explore this website to find out more about these relative pronouns and also the complex sentence. Okay, so do spend some time uh, reading on it. So you may pause the video in order to go through everything in this slide. Okay, so I will move on to the next slide. Okay, now we are going to talk about subordinating conjunction. Okay, subordinating conjunction, there are so many. Okay, there are so many here. So as you can see from this chart, you can go through it as well later. And then we will give you examples on how to connect independent clause and dependent clause by using this subordinating conjunction. Okay, well, now let's go to the next slide. Now these are the example. The example. Now the first one, we are using a relative pronoun. When he laughed. Now when he laughed is incomplete. Okay, it doesn't. It is a dependent clause. Okay, so everyone can hear him in the hall. Everyone can hear him in the hall is a complete idea. Okay, so this is an example of complex sentence. Although he slept, he is still feeling tired. So the word although here is a subordinating conjunction. Adam, who won the competition, is only 6 years old. So here again, this using a relative pronoun. And Jane, whose husband is Michael, will be going to birthday party tonight. Next one, Michelle was the girl whom my teacher scolded yesterday. So with all these WH words, you can see this is a relative pronoun. So I'll just jump to the last one. She prayed hard so that she could, there's mistake here. She could pass her final exam actually, okay? She could pass her final exam. There's a missing word there, I'm sorry. So she prayed hard so that she could pass her final exam. Okay, so that here we can see is a subordinating conjunction. Okay, so this one is also a complex sentence. Okay, complex sentence. Now, yes, guys, you made it. Okay, so that is the end of my sharing for today. And I hope you are brave enough to experiment with all these language feature that I have shared this morning that could help you to write a better narrative essay. So before I close this session, I just wish that all of you uh, to I just want to wish all the SPN candidates, okay? I just wish that all of you with the best of luck, and I pray that God will reward all your hard work, okay? And remember, if you believe in yourself, nothing is too hard for you to achieve. I'm sure success will follow all your hard work. Okay, that's all from me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.